The Underground Railroad in Lawrence County was a critical stop for former slaves on their trek to freedom. 13 News reporter Shannon Litton joins us again to show us some of the people who made the Underground Railroad possible.
The Underground Railroad in our region is totally unnoticed and goes unnoticed in most of the history. Any person who drives north on 93 in Ohio should stop in Black Fork and bow your head and say, thank God for these people.
One might say John Rankin and John Campbell were born way ahead of their time. Dr. David Lucas certainly does.
They were doing what humans should be doing, but at the time it was not what most people wanted to do because they were afraid. These folk are not given the acclamation they deserve.
Lucas says Rankin and Campbell showed bravery by helping with the Underground Railroad at a time slavery was still legal.
It was considered property. It's the most heinous, hideous kind of institution this country has ever entertained. They went against all the odds. This was not a popular moment.
Lucas calls Rankin a powerful preacher and abolitionist who had great significance not only in Ripley but in Ironton.
His influence on people around him, the women's circles and groups and churches, and all of the ironmasters was absolutely powerful.
He says Campbell, Ironton's founder and one of Rankin's disciples, was able to create trails from the iron furnaces in Hanging Rock, Ironton, Proctorville, and Burlington, all the way up to Black Fork and Poke Patch. So how did they do it? How were they able to help enslaved people through Ohio? And who helped them? Well, it all started with some homes still in Ironton, including Campbell's home on 5th Street and what is now Kevin Waldo's house.
It's part of history, and I feel good about the fact that maybe some ancestor that owned this house or somebody that did own this house contributed to the end of slavery and contributed to helping humanity out in the way that they did. I'm tickled to death that maybe this house contributed to somebody's safety and their freedom.
From there, Lucas says the ironmasters took to ensuring freedom.
Every ironmaster in Lawrence County, Ohio, without exception, was an abolitionist. Every ironmaster. They just did not embrace that whole concept of slavery. All the people working in the furnaces were ferrying these folks away from that institution of slavery. These people were ferreting these folk across the river.
Including those from the Jenkins plantation in Campbell County.
Taking them up toward Jackson, getting them up on a northern path so they could get away from a terrible practice.
Though it's hard to tell how many people may have been helped by those here in Ironton and Lawrence County.
It's countless. Nobody kept tabs because if you're John Campbell, if you're one of the ironmasters, you're not keeping an inventory of people you're ferreting away. It was against the law.
But according to Lucas, that's the point.
These folk were rugged champions of freedom and have always been. We can learn from the journey of these people to be better people. And that's what we have to do. We have to strive to stop hurting each other and helping each other. That's what we have to do.
Total strangers who cross paths to help out these freedom seekers, risking everything so former slaves might have the freedom they unequivocally deserved. In Lawrence County, Shannon Litton, 13 News, working for you.